Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are going to go over what an entry would look like for me and what relative strength and weakness really means for the individual stock that you're trading on the day. I also want to point out that if you're trying to grow an account or you're trying to get better at my specific strategy, the best time frames is the 10 and the 30-minute time frame, right? Anything under 5, I would say, is kind of not the most ideal for beginner traders, mostly because it takes expertise and you have to know how to read the candles, right? But let's go over the 10-minute time frame, because for today we can see SPY was in a downtrend, right? But AMD was in a much cleaner downtrend, right? We can see here there's an entry here. This is a retest. All right. This is a retest off the 10-minute. All right, and then it keeps going down, and then if you get scared that you missed out on this whole move, AMD just flags here, and then it retests the 8 EMA. Okay, there's entries here, and you just hold and trust the system, right? Because if you sold because you think it's not holding the 8 EMA, but then it rolls over like this, then obviously you're going to feel really bad about not catching this move, even though it followed all your criteria, right? So notice how this is a weaker this is like a weaker stock for the day, and when SPY is making these choppy moves, you're still able to find winning trades on a ticker like AMD, right? Just going down the entire day, right? That's why you have to find relative weakness, because SPY and QQQ, they don't really make clean moves, right? There's entries here based off my system, but it's not clean, right? There's entry here and an entry here, and it makes more of a cleaner rollover type of pattern, right? And then you can make some gains. Now there's another setup, not even on the 10-minute, but on the 30-minute, right? There's a 30-minute time frame. Notice this is the same day. SPY is indecisive on the 30-minute. But let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA dumps the whole entire first few hours. It pulls back, it taps, and retests the 8 EMA right here. And then it rolls over. And usually you would want to sell at a new low of day. But notice how there's a lot of buyers trying to push the stock up here. These wicks means there's buyers, right? And then a top wick means there's sellers. So there's sellers here trying to push it down. So I would say be careful of this. And me personally, I took this trade today, and I noticed the body of this candle would probably be my take profit, because there's buyers here waiting to push it back up. And notice how it doesn't cut through here as well for the rest of the day. So I entered here, and then it went all the way down to here, and I made 40% off this move by just sitting and waiting and trusting the system for 1 whole hour, right? And one of the best ways to enter is to enter on the opposite color candle, right? So if I want to see red candles pushing this stock down, then I'd probably enter on a blue candle, because that's when contracts are cheaper. Same thing here. The best entry for these types of flags is probably on this blue candle, because you're not going to know it's good. Because once this candle starts to form, like the new 10-minute starts to form, it's just going to go up for like a second, and it's just going to dump, right? So you don't know. And then same thing here, in this blue candle here, It retests, it comes back down, and then it rolls over. Okay, this is where you get better entries. Now these are downtrend types of moves and examples, so I just want to go over an uptrend type of an example. Right, so SPY this Friday was making an uptrend. Okay, Intel was making an uptrend, but it was way cleaner. Notice how smooth this is. Okay, so you mark out the previous day high and the previous day low for both tickers. But obviously we're looking for an upside trend, so I'm just going to mark the previous day high. And then you also mark the pre-market high. So SPY kind of moves in and out of this range. It oscillates. That's not what we want to see. For Intel, we can see it makes a clean and big move up, right? So this is the opening move, and it kind of flags here, right? It breaks the flag. You could enter here, but it's a higher probability if you just do it off of the 8 EMA, right? So there was 2 entries off the 8 EMA, right here, and then right here, right? So this would have made you money, and then this would have made you money on the upside. But yeah, that is kind of what I wanted to go over on how to find entries per my system and how I take and enter my trades. And usually I sell most of my position at a new high of day. So if you entered here, it's just going to push up, new high of day, you can exit. Same thing with the downside. I'd ideally want to sell at a new low of day here, but as I've explained, there was buyers sitting here trying to push it back up. So my new take profit was just the body right here, right below this body. Now if we look at AMD, it was a little bit cleaner. Sorry. It's a little bit cleaner, right? We get more of a trend up instead of 3 wicks in the same general direction. It's just wicks going upwards. It's stair-stepping on the 30-minute, and on the 10-minute, it's stair-stepping. So it's a little bit of a different take profit system. You just take profits at the new low of the day, and then you leave some contracts, maybe like 10% of your position, to just let it run along the 8 EMA, right? So if it closed above the 8 EMA, like right here, that's when you would have exited. It's that simple, because you don't know how low the stock is actually going to go. So by holding a little bit of your position left, it allows you to take screenshots and post them on Twitter of 100% gains, right? That's kind of how it works. But it also lets you make some extra capital. It helps you grow your smaller account, right? That's how you grow in a small account, is you would just let runners go. And then if it just closes above, okay, you took 90% of your profits right here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's kind of how I'd enter on these setups, and I hope you learned something. So thank you for watching. Like and comment if you enjoyed.